자고파 muhuscumbitang bimbarangtang barangme manasya virastang alang lakshay Damodeva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabhimannam Kripadisti Vrisyati Dinam Bhatanu Grihani Samam Magya Edhyakshidrisha
Namami Swaram Shakti Anandarupam Lashat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Namami Swaram Shakti Anandarupam Lashat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Yashoda Biyoluka Ladadavana Paramrishta Matyantanto Dutagopya Yashoda Biyoluka Adadananam Paramrishta Natyantanto Dutagopya Udantam Muhurneta Yugman Vijanta Karambuje Yogmena Shantanta Netram Muhurnetram Yugman Vijanta Karambuje Yogmena Shantanka Netram Muhushvashikampa Sirikanka Kanta Sita Greva Damodaram Bhaktivedanta Tidriksvalila bir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimanjantam Akhyapayantam Tidriksvalila bir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimanjantam Akhyapayantam Tadiye Sitagneshu Bhaktir Jitatva Puna Prematastam Sata Vritti Vande Varam Deva Moksham Na Moksham Vadimva Nachanyam Rineham Varishadapiha Varam Deva Moksham Nachanyam Rineham Varishadapiha Idam Teva Purnatha Gopala Balam Sada Me Manashyavi Rashtam Kimanye Idam Teva Purnatha Gopala Balam Sada Me idam te mukhamboja matyanta nile vitem kuntale snigdya raktaschagyopya Muhushumbitam bimba raktadaram me manasya virashtam alam lakshalabe Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prashida Prabhu Dukha Jalabdi Magnam Kripa drishti visyati dinam batanu Krihane shamamagyam idyakshi drishya Kuveratmajavada muteyavadva Kaya mochitav bhakti bhajav kritav cha Tatha prema bhaktim swakame prayacha Namokshe grahom me sthida mudareha Namaste Sudamne Spuradipti Damne Tvadiyodaraya Tha Vishwaswadamne Namaste Sudamne Radipti Damne Tvadiyodaraya Tha Vishwaswadamne Ramo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikaye Svadiya Priyaye Namo Radhikaye Svadiya Priyaye Namo Radhikaye Svadiya Priyaye Namo Nantalilaye Devaya Tubhyam Namo Nantalilaye Devaya Tubhyam Namami Swaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Yashoda Biolu Kaladadavana Param Rishtamatyantanto Dutta Gopya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Goranitai, 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 Jaya Goranitai. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, whose shark-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who I, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and he is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Bala Gopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips with reddish, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool which is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodara, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nala Kuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into 2 great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way please give me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord who displays unlimited pastimes. Shri Shri Radha Damodar Ki Jai. Shri Shri Yashoda Damodar Ki Jai.
श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की जय, सीता राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय, श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्री माता यशोदा दामोदर की जय। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Narahari Jaya, Narahari Jaya, Narahari Jaya, Narahari Jaya, Narahari, Narahari, Narahari Jaya, Narahari Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada. नरसिम्हदेव भगवान की जय, भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So thank you everyone for coming this evening to Bhaktivedanta Manor. So the prasadam is being served next door in the reception room, and those of you who haven't been to the Vrindavan experience room, it's along the corridor and it's the second on the right. So if you get a chance, please go and have a look, and you can have an experience of Vrindavan. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Prabhu. Should I take it back here?
No, I'll do it. You take this back here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Diwali day, on Thursday, 7 o'clock, I have to do the Damodara Stikam. So she will play the flute. So
Okay, yeah. So then you come 10 minutes before 7.
yes,
Is it
sure.
morning or evening?
Evening time.
Yeah, then come. Make sure you have 10 minutes before.
And she will need the mic because for the bansuri to play.
Yeah. So between you decide what you're going to do, and give us some lozenges if her throat's going to be sore.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
I was a bit late. What time does the aarti start in the evening?
7 o'clock.
Oh, I think I was 5 minutes late.
So there's going to be a Bhagavad-gita class now, and then there's an aarti at 9.
Oh, right. Can we stay?
Yeah. Can you help us with the asana for the speaker? Just pull it here.
What?
You know the asana for the speaker.
Someone give a class?
Yeah, a Bhagavad-gita class. Do you want to give the gate? Huh? No, he's giving the class, but can you pull the asana over? You can give class tomorrow if you want. Okay, it's all right. Tell him not to.
Okay, so today we're reading from chapter 7, text 27. Sorry. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Jnanatimyandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitanyena Bhutaye Swayam Rupa Kadadmayam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatim Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhavetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishubhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare and Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya O Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from chapter 7, text 27. And before I begin speaking, I would like to request the blessings of all the assembled devotees and also those who are online, that hopefully I can speak something worthwhile. So, thank you. Hare Krishna. So, Icha Dvesa Samutena dvanda mohena bharata sarva bhutani samoham sarge yanti parantapa. Icha dvesa samutena dvanva mohena bharata sarva bhutani samoham sarge yanti parantapa. So no one has the verse in front of them. If they like, they can repeat it. Okay, yeah, that's okay. So, and the translation by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Scion of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities, arisen from desire and hate. O Scion of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities, arisen from desire and hate. And the purport. The real constitutional position of the living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from this pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand that Lord Shri Krishna appears by his internal potencies, but those who are deluded by duality and nescience think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc. Thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of this house, I am the husband of this wife. These are the dualities of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's, at the beginning of this purport, it speaks about the constitutional position of the living entity. So the constitutional position of the living entity is that we are all eternal servants of Krishna. So in this material world, there is a duality, which is the living entities generally have two psychological conceptions, and that is that they think that they're the proprietors and the enjoyers. So they want to, what Srila Prabhupada says is to lord it over the material world or the material energy. So it's described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 28. It says, Eti chamsa kalopamsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indriyari Vyakalam Lokam Mridyanti Yuge Yuge. So this says that all living entities are either plenary portions or plenary portions of the Supreme Lord. So these are the Lord's representatives, and similar like that, it continues on that we all emanate from the Lord. So it's like that the Lord is the original candle, and from that can come many other candles, but that the Lord is the supreme controller. So in this sense that we may be able to realize the same quality of the Lord, but in terms of the quantity, we're different. And always, even in quality, we may be of the same quality of the Lord, but it's like, even in terms of gold, that we may be, like if the Lord is gold, we may be of gold, but the Lord is still like a superior carat gold, that he's actually, he has the 6 opulences and no one can be superior than him in his opulence. Yeah. So it says in Bhagavad-gita chapter 15 text 7, Mame vamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha mana sastani indriyani prakriti stani karsati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. So Krishna, as the Supreme, it's mentioned also in the Bhagavad-gita that he has, there's 3 different types of energies mentioned. So Krishna has his internal energy, and this is the pure spiritual energy. And then also it's the external energy, and this is the material energy, which is Maya. But also it's mentioned that he has the marginal energy. And this is what comprises of the living entities, which are us. So this is our souls, the jivas, individual living entities. And it's also mentioned in the Bhagavad-gita that the Lord he's the Father who actually impregnates us into the material energy. So it's from the Lord that we actually take birth into this material world. And this external energy is run by Mahamaya, which is, if you heard of Durga, and so originally from Srimati Radharani and all the different expansions of energies, it comes down to Parvati and Durga, and then Durga, and from there it comes into Mahamaya. So also that there is Yoga Maya also, and this, when a devotee is actually in devotional service, this is Yoga Maya that is facilitating that. But in terms of the mode's material nature and us being covered over and not being able to actually see clearly our true spiritual nature, our true spiritual nature, that we actually are bewildered by the 3 modes of material nature. So it's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, Text 35. My dear Lord, this cosmic manifestation and its creation, maintenance, and annihilation are all but your opulences. Since Lord Brahma and the other creators are nothing but small portions of a portion of you, their partial power to create does not make them God, Ishvara. Their consciousness of themselves as separate lords is therefore merely false prestige. It is not valid. So even though these demigods may seem to have very much power, and even to create, even in this material world, that we can create offspring and so on like this. So, but this is not. We don't actually are not the source of creators in terms of spirit, and the Lord is the creator the empowerment and the creator of everything. Lord Brahma may be the architect of this material world, but it's all emanating from the Lord's energy. It's mentioned in the Brahma Samhita 5.1. Isvaraha Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So it says Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. So this is a very definite verse about the position of Krishna, and that he has a spiritual form, but he is the origin of all and the Supreme Godhead. So he is the Supreme Controller. So in terms of these dualities, these are all arisen from, it says, desire and hate. But these ultimately as well, they are also everything that is controlled by the three modes of material nature. So it's us who are actually contaminated is the word that's used, that we are contaminated by the material energy. And this material energy is very strong, and it's not something that we can overcome or by ourselves. So one thing which is very important, which is mentioned as well, is about that we have to actually admit to ourselves and be real to what actually are we, and where are we, and what is our position in this world. So it says that our constitutional position is eternal servitors, and it's a good point to raise, is that it may seem like if we are like eternal servants, that and we're subordinate to the Supreme Lord, these kind of words are not sometimes words that don't really go so well with material egos. So one thing to understand is that to be subordinate to the Supreme Lord doesn't mean that we're slaves. It means that it's just our natural position, and it's actually our natural fulfillment of how we are meant to be. So it's that we're not forced to actually to love God. So it's transcendental loving service is what is described in the Bhagavad-gita. So it's something that can't be forced. It's something that we naturally accept. So God gives us ultimately free will and independence. So in terms of being subordinate to the Lord, it's our own fulfillment and our natural position. So it says also in the Bhagavad-gita that this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So it's described that this material nature is like a vast ocean, and it's also described in the Srimad Bhagavatam that this vast ocean can seem from our perspective unsurmountable. So it's described in the Srimad Bhagavatam that when we surrender unto the Lord, in relation to this verse, that this ocean merely becomes no less than what we can perceive in the water left in the hoofprint of a calf. So it's easily surmountable. So the process is very simple. Srila Prabhupada has given us a very simple process, which is to chant our 16 rounds a day, and follow the 4 regulative principles, and also to engage in devotional service, which is the result of that. The chanting process means when we chant, I'm not sure if you're familiar with chanting, if anyone has chanted before in terms of the Maha Mantra. So it means that when we're chanting, it says we're saying, please engage me in your devotional service. So in terms of this, in this age, this is Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, life is considered to be a short-lived life, and the natural features of this age are hypocrisy and quarrel. So in this age, it's full of all these bad qualities, but it is a good situation for us in terms of that it is Lord Chaitanya's age, in terms of the Sankirtan movement, and it is this 10,000 years of what's described as a golden age. But this golden age, some people might ask, where is it with everything that's actually happening in the world at the moment? And one thing that I've learned is that we can actually still have the golden age for ourselves right now, even if it's not so visible externally in this material world. It says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Text 17, Text 32. If the personality of Kali, irreligion, is allowed to act as a man-god or an executive head, certainly irreligious principles like greed, falsehood, robbery, incivility, treachery, misfortune, cheating, quarrel, and vanity will abound. And it says, the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, as we have already discussed, may be followed by the follower of any faith. There is no need to turn from Hindu to Mohammedan to Christian or some other faith, and thus become a renegade and not allow the principles of religion. And not follow the principles of religion. The Bhagavatam religion urges following the principles of religion. The principles of religion are not the dogmas or regulative principles of a certain faith. Such regulative principles may be different in terms of time and place concerned. One has to see whether the aims of religion have been achieved. Sticking to the dogmas and formulas without attaining the real principles is not good. A secular state may be impartial to any particular type of faith, but the state cannot be indifferent to the principles of religion as above mentioned. But in the age of Kali, the executive heads of state will be indifferent to such religious principles, and therefore under their patronage, the opponents of religious principles such as greed, falsehood, cheating, and pilfery will naturally follow. So there will be no meaning to propaganda crying to stop corruption in the state. So this means that even though how much we challenge and so many different protests all over the world, but ultimately, in terms of the rulers, they'll still have their agenda, which this means that we have to actually, no matter whatever faith we actually come from, it doesn't matter. All that matters is if we actually achieve the goal, and which Srila Prabhupada says. He agrees with every faith as long as the goal is achieved, which is to attain love of God. So, in terms of the different faiths, and they might have different principles, but as long as one can actually achieve the aim. I wonder, is there any questions? No, yeah. Okay, perfect. So, in terms of these dualities, there's these dualities are of the external energy, but when one actually becomes duality is when one is free from duality, that means that they're fully Krishna conscious. So it's mentioned in the scripture, the Sri Chaitanya Charamrita, about the many of the prominent characteristics that one will attain. So I'm just going to read these out. So in terms of the actual good qualities that we will attain, it will be merciful, not defiant, truthful, will be equal to everyone. Equal to everyone means that it's not that we don't have discrimination, but if someone is behaving badly, then we actually obviously we give everyone equal opportunity and fair to everyone. So it's to actually see ourselves as a servant of everyone. Faultless, magnanimous. Magnanimous is not a word I would have used much or heard of much before, but it's about being generous and generous towards others. Clean, aware that everything belongs to Krishna, a performer of welfare work for everyone, peaceful, surrendered to Krishna, desireless, indifferent to material acquisitions, fixed in Krishna consciousness, completely in control of bad qualities, moderate in eating, not obsessed with material things, respectful, without false prestige, grave, compassionate, a friend to all, poetic, and expert. So, as I mentioned earlier, it was about, in terms of humility, to know our natural position. So it's listed just one more list, actually, which is very useful. It's in the Bhagavad-gita in chapter 16. And this is a list of what will actually give us proper knowledge and wisdom. So these are the qualities which we have to try and cultivate. So it is humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, and self-control, renunciation of the renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease. And it's interesting that I find it mentions evil, and also in terms of the material modes of nature in Bhagavad-gita, they're mentioned as evil is one who is something that is under a supernatural influence. So this actually, in this sense, this evil relates to the three modes of material nature, because this is the influence which actually influences anyone who is still who is under the process of birth, death, old age, and disease, or the perception of that. Yeah. So, non-attachment to children, wife, home, and rest, and even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, resorting to solitary places, detachment from the general mass of people. This one isn't so applicable because in Krishna consciousness, our movement is more magnanimous in that sense as well, that it's a preaching movement. And accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All of these I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to these is ignorance. So I wonder if there's any questions. Yeah.
I have one question I'll ask in the last question.
Yes.
I have a question, but I'll ask in the last, in the end. I'll ask in the end.
In the end?
Yeah.
Oh no, this is finished now.
It's finished now. Okay. So,
Yeah.
So basically, Krishna saying that we have this in a material life. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. With these devotees, we can't understand Krishna. That's what I said in Bhagavad.
Yes.
So, and to get rid of these devotees, we need to surrender to Krishna.
Yes.
And if you can't understand Krishna, how can we surrender to Krishna?
It's mentioned that we have to become the servant of the servant of the servant. So it's mentioned in Bhagavad-gita, chapter 4, text 34, that if one wants to know the truth, that they must approach submissively, approach a bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him. And then it says the self-realized ones, that they can reveal to you the truth because they have seen the truth. Sorry, that they can impart knowledge unto you for they have seen the truth. So this means that, that we have to actually serve the representative of Krishna, the spiritual master. And by that, and likewise the spiritual master is the servant of his spiritual master, and so on and so forth in the disciplic succession. So we have to become the servant of the servant of the servant. And in this way, in due course of time, we will become qualified to actually develop the most deepest relationship with Krishna. But in terms of serving Krishna, we serve Krishna's representative, the spiritual master, and Krishna's devotees. So Krishna becomes very pleased because if we're serving and preaching, this is serving Krishna's desire. By especially in terms of Krishna consciousness, if we can actually help facilitate other conditioned souls to develop that relationship also. So this is a valuable service as well. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yes, yeah, thank you. Yes. Actually, I remember before I actually looked up the definition of evil, and it was under a supernatural influence. So, in terms of that we have to actually, it's saying in that particular verse, chapter 16, that we have to actually perceive the evil of birth, old age, and disease. So these are all duality in terms of the verse, and this duality is a product of the external energy, which is it's all under the modes of material nature. So in terms of the modes of material nature, Srila Prabhupada often uses the word bewildered. So living entities, it's not that they know, it's not that they're fully aware that they're under the influence of the material modes of nature. There's a verse, I can't remember the exact number now, but it says that the living entities, they're not aware that they're the actual the doers, that Krishna is the doer of everything. So this is the modes of material nature, how he's actually operating. So the living entities are always operating under the modes of material nature, conditioned living entities, and this is this influence of Maya, and this is what is actually evil in that sense, in terms of what's described, because if one is still under this influence all the time, and then they're still, when one is free from this, then they're going to be also free from old age, birth, and disease, and then that's that's anything that actually will keep us away from Krishna has to be evil. Like it says, Krishna Surya Sarma Meya Heya Adhikara Tahan Krishna Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Mayara Adhikara. That says Krishna is just like the sun and Maya is like darkness. If the sun is present, then what is the question of darkness? So to actually have the full light of the sun is to be rid of the evil. So we have to realize that this Maya is the more or less evil in that sense, that the modes of nature and anything that keeps us in this world of the cycle of birth and death. Yeah. So, thank you. So Bhagavad-gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, all assembled devotees ki, Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been like such a long time since I had people. It's usually giving class to the camera or because of lockdown. So thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. It's not. We love this.
Yeah. No, it's very good. Yeah.
It makes us happy.
Yes. Yes. Maybe just not Sundays because there's kirtan and.
Kirtan on Sundays. What time?
Just after the Gaur Arti, like the same time as Bhagavad-gita class. Maybe like 20 to 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
You do it on Sundays.
On Sundays, yeah.
Where this goes?
Oh, this goes on the Vyasa-san. Sorry, thank you.
No problem. Should I put on the Vyasa-san?
Yes, please.
You don't turn off this. Any idea about this new task?
Yeah.
Say no.
Oh, okay. On Thursday night. Thursday because of the bath. It's going to be busy then. Do we have to register for that? We have to.
I think you can come back. I think now there is no registration required.
No, not on Thursday. Just for the uncut. Okay, public.
Definitely, I think Friday you are missing your registration. Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, probably. I think you have to register. But Thursday should be fine. I'll have a look online anyway.
Yeah, I have to come.
You stay with the bath for the month?
I'm just waiting to see the Lord.
Yeah.
I'm actually staying in the temple. So
Oh,
I'm in the post for 1 week.
you?
Do you live nearby?
Yeah, I live in St. Albans. It's like 10 minutes away on Second P. Yeah.
You're so lucky.
I'm so lucky.
I stay in Birmingham. Well, but
Really?
we don't have temple there.
No. Oh.
And even they're looking temple very far from my house. So
Oh no. Sorry about that.
now looking at this, I want to move in nearby.
Yeah.
It definitely brings me my childhood where I used to go to my mom, the temple every day.
Yeah. Where was that?
In India, Andhra.
Oh, okay.
So we used to go every day till I'm studying 9th standard, 10th standard.
Oh,
Every day.
like until you were about 13.
13, yeah, 15 time I think.
I miss that so much.
Well, that time I didn't understand, but because my mom was going out with but
But you just miss it.
now when I say morning, evening, people come to the gate and say, this was my mom used to take me like this.
So nice. I love it. I love it when there's so many people here. Like tonight was so nice. Because Catholic month is busy, so lots of people come.
Even morning they're coming. So
Yeah, or 4:30 a.m. That's amazing.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Hare Krishna. I think I'm going to stay till Aarti,
Yeah.
and then I go.
Yeah, you and I am staying
That's
together.
it.
I'll play some. I'm playing some classes.
It's very difficult for me to sit on the floor.
You can sit on the chair.
No, I won't sit on the floor, but I have to get used to it.
Okay.
Is this a live class?
Sorry?
Is this live class?
No, this is a recorded class.
Oh.
So there is a group called Chapter Area. So same like what Prabhuji said. So some another senior Vaishnavas doing every day they explain one verse.
Mhm.
So when I was at home, I used to follow that. That also starts in 7:45.
Okay.
So what they do is they read off of the chapter, like 20 verses they read, and then they pick up the verse, and one senior Vaishnava explains the meaning. So because I'm staying here, I'm missing some.
Oh, I see, I see. So what channel is it on?
No, it's a Zoom class. It's called Chada. I don't know. So
Is it on YouTube?
it will be on YouTube, but not live.
Okay.
But if you want the live YouTube, it will be added into the group. Then you can add it there into the Zoom class. That's also starts 7:45. So if you want to come here, you better watch in the YouTube later there.
Okay.
So it's called Chapter Day. Chapter Day. They explain it very nicely.
Really?
Very deep, very nicely. And I would
article starts off with a very damning statement, and it reads, "The evil of India's caste practice is almost as old as the gods, and it is the most noxious and involved example today of how humans attempt to impose superiority and suffering on others by virtue of their birth. Hindu texts speak of 4 tiers or varnas, making up a broader caste pyramid in society. On top are the Brahmanas of priestly caste, the Kshatriyas a warrior class, and the Vaishyas a merchant class. At the bottom come the Shudras a laborer caste. The rest do not even count. They're called odd castes. So, this is a BBC article. India's caste system is among the world's oldest forms of social stratification surviving to this day. And here's an extract. The system bestowed many privileges on the upper caste while sanctioning repression of the lower caste by privileged groups. Often criticized for being